A new concept in four-wheel drive produced by the makers of the famous Jeep, the world's most useful vehicle. Yes, forward control, a completely new style of four-wheel drive.
Guys, welcome to Project Scrappy. So Project Scrappy really begins with talking about my other build, the Patty Wagon. Now, if you've seen the channel, you know that I am building quite the monster 1958 FC-150, but it is not any normal FC-150. It is a complete one-off custom build from the ground up. And guys, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. We are trying to get that crazy son of a gun build to SEMA 2026. Now, I'm pretty excited about that. Kitsui Metalworks has been working their butts off trying to get that thing fixed and ready to go, and I have been spending quite a bit of money on it. And honestly, I don't have a lot of money left. Now, when I started building the Patty Wagon, I knew I needed other parts. So I was scouring the internet looking for parts vehicles and things I can use to save some money. And I found an old FC-150 cab on a chopped up frame that someone had tried to make into some sort of dually contraption thing and shorten the frame, which is weird because the 170s are supposed to be a longer frame. And well, it didn't work out for them. And they had cut up the interior as well of the frame where the engine had mounted to accept a different engine. And so I purchased it because the cab was in really good shape, and I stripped a bunch of parts off that cab to sell off to recoup some of my money, but also use some of those parts for the Patty Wagon build. So it actually ended up working really well. But then I kind of had an issue. I realized that I have fallen in love with the FC platform, the forward controlled Jeeps, which you've seen some previous videos on my channel where I kind of show what they are. And I wanted a stock one, but I have no money. So one day I'm perusing Facebook Marketplace, which every guy not in the right mind does all the time. And I saw this thing. This is a 1957 narrow track FC-150 chassis, and it's got everything there. It's got the engine, it's got the transfer case, it's all original, and it has some pretty unique features on it that we'll get into later in the video. But the guy was asking a price I just couldn't say no to, especially considering that some of the parts on this thing are worth the price he was asking for everything combined. So hit him up. He said he would deliver. Came from Napa, delivered it here to Sacramento area, and I am now the proud owner of an FC-150 chassis. And yeah, I realized I can't let that 170 cab go to waste. So what I'm gonna do is, it's called Scrappy for a reason. I ain't got no budget to speak of, like nothing, no money. I have the cab, I have a allegedly running chassis, and a bunch of spare parts that I've collected over the years from building the Patty Wagon. And the goal is to just make everything work together and scrap what parts I can from here and there, do a couple marketplace sales, eBay sales, and collect whatever funds I need to get the few odds and ends left that I will need to make a running FC out of a 170 cab, a later model 170 cab at that, and a narrow track 150. Now I am gonna run into a couple issues. This is gonna be a series. We're gonna be doing a couple videos on this series as I build this project. And I have a couple issues. One is this is a narrow track. So this frame, the mounts are different widths than the cab mounts. So I've got two options. I can either cut and re-weld the frame mounts to be further out, or I can drill new holes into the cab, which is the easier and cheaper option. So that'll probably end up being what I do as long as it all kind of works out. Now, we're gonna do a couple videos, like I said, and one video, this one, is just introducing everything, right? Showing you the builds, the cab and the frame, and Scrappy. It's a scrapyard build. And then number two video, which is gonna be filmed this next Saturday, hopefully, if all goes well, we're gonna be actually trying to turn this thing on and make sure the engine runs. I got my buddy Brody. He was the young guy who, he's an FC guru, and he has the whole fleet of FCs up in the mountains, and I filmed that episode as well of his FCs. But he's gonna be coming down, and we're gonna be seeing if we can get this motor to turn over and basically crank. and that's going to be a great start. The other issue I've got is the clutch pack is basically a rust bucket. The transmission actually doesn't look too bad. It needs a flush, but it looks pretty good. I haven't checked in the engine yet. So we got to do an oil change. We're going to do some minor wiring of the motor to get it prepped to run, and then hopefully run it on Saturday. And that's all going to get filmed and be in the next episode. So stay tuned. This video is going to be a whole series. And yeah, I call it Project Scrappy because it's going to be a scrappy little FC, kind of a motley assortment of 170, 150, and spare bin parts. I got seats out of the Patty Wagon I'm using. I got a fuel tank from the Patty Wagon I'm using, an old fuel tank. I've got the original. I've got a couple different steering systems. Probably gonna use the manual steering still. Maybe if I get fancy in the future, I'll throw in a Prius or a Corolla steering electric box thingamajiggy. But yeah, the goal is spend as little money as possible to get this FC running and driving to take around town and have fun. Now this FC does have some pretty cool features, right? Like I told you, it's got the F-head F4 134 engine that makes 74 horsepower, 115 foot-pounds of torque when it was new in 1957. It's got a T90 3-speed manual transmission, nothing fancy. And then right here, it's got the Spicer 18 transfer case. But here's the cool kicker thing, guys. It has none other than a Spicer 18 rear-mounted power takeoff unit, a PTO. This sucker, I don't know if I can power ice cream, power a generator, power an air compressor, or just mow the lawn, but I got that. So the build is going to be pretty simple, right? But here's the list of what I'm trying to do. Convert 6 volt to 12 volt. Verify the engine's running. Convert the mechanical fuel pump to an electric fuel pump as cheaply as possible. Fix the steering. Fix the brakes. Clean out the clutch pack. Clean out the transmission. Flush the engine, repair the cooling system, mount the cab onto the chassis, link everything up, do the wiring, mount the fuel tank, rebuild the brakes, and then I'm done. It's easy to say, not so easy to do. It also has, not to mention, some really heavy duty leaf springs. Like this thing has military load, overload springs. It was carrying something really heavy. I have no bed for it, so that's the other thing I gotta figure out is the bed. Now I might have a lead on a bed, but I currently don't have a bed. So gotta do a lot of wiring, a lot of repairs, but I don't wanna get too far into that because that's gonna be the next video. So guys, if you wanna watch me build a bunch of scrapyard parts into a scrappy little FC, subscribe, like, get me some money from watching this so I can afford it. My average income from YouTube is $60 to $70 a month. Not very much. So spark plugs and wiring, and that's basically my YouTube income for the month. So help me out. That's it, guys. Cool your ash, pack your trash, check out the channel. I have a lot of other videos. FCs are not my specialty, but I enjoy them. They are my passion. I am not a mechanic. I just pretend like I know what I'm doing. So that's it. Stay tuned. Bye.